The greatest thing about team sports, and especially hockey, is you learn so much about life. You learn how to be unselfish. You learn how to be committed. You learn how to work hard. You learn what it's like to lose and be devastated. You learn what it's like to win and be excited. Hi, I'm Gretzky. We had a great day of filming in Florida. I'll be on the cover of Dolce.
1, 2, and 3. Perfect.
People think because I was a professional athlete, whatever I pick up, whether it's tennis or golf, pickleball, that I'm very competitive, but I'm not. I did all that. You know, I think to be a professional athlete, it's really hard. You gotta practice and work hard every single day. There's no in between as a professional team player. You're on top of the mountain when you win, and you're in the bottom of the valley if you lose. So I've had all those peaks and valleys and all that competitive spirit of playing championship games, playing for Canada in the Olympics. I've been fortunate enough to do all that. So now when I play with my sons or my daughter or my wife, friends, I really just enjoy it. I got really lucky. My grandfather came from Belarus and my grandmother came from Ukraine. They met in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He moved to Paris, Ontario. They bought a 25-acre farm in 1926, and through the backyard was a river, and that's where I really first started to skate when I was 2.5 years old. I got a pair of skates that were handed down. I had an uncle who was younger than my mother, and his first pair of skates, he handed them down to me, and we still have the skates. But I just picked it up right away. People ask me all the time, did your parents push you? Not one bit. My mother sacrificed a lot, so all the kids. We weren't rich in money, but we were rich in love of our family. And incredible support. My mom and dad were at every game, every practice. And not just for me, for my brothers. My sister was a figure skater and a runner at a younger age. They didn't miss any of that stuff. And my dad worked 8 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday. Our whole life was based around sports. Somebody said, where do you guys family vacation? I said, well, in the wintertime it was hockey tournaments. And in the summertime, it was baseball tournaments, and that was our family vacations. My dad would tell me, it's a big world out there, and that for some reason the good Lord blessed you with a passion. He never really ever said talent, but he said a passion. And I just want you to understand that that passion is going to give you the opportunity to travel the world and go to places that I never really had that chance to do, or your mother never had that chance to do. And you're going to meet so many incredible people. And then there I was, lifting the Stanley Cup, living and playing in Edmonton and loving every minute of it, playing for Canada in the Olympics, enjoying my time in LA, St. Louis, and New York. To play in the NHL is a privilege. I always tell the young guys who come in, never take it for granted. That was the first thing that Gordie Howe taught me. And through that, I met so many incredible athletes, so many wonderful people.
Keep on waiting.
Yeah, something like that's great. Yeah, that's perfect.
The nickname, the great one, bothered me? Yeah, it always kind of bothered me. One thing you learn as a team player, that nobody's bigger than the other guy in the locker room. And just as important, nobody's bigger or better than anybody you're competing against. And, you know, I remember I was 5 years old, I made a 10-year-old team, and so I played on that team for 5 years. And the first year I scored 1 goal. Well, by the 5th year, when I was 10 and the kids were 10, I scored 400 goals. And I'll never forget this. My dad said, there's a guy from a newspaper in London, Ontario. He wants to come down and take pictures of you and do an interview after the game. Now, when you're 10 years old, you know, that's a little bit different and a little bit odd. And so we did the article, it was very nice. And he says at the end of the article, you know, a player of that caliber, and not to compare him to Bobby Hull and Gordie Howe yet, but they call Gordie Howe Mr. Hockey and call Bobby Hull the Golden Jet. He needs a nickname, and he just kind of threw it out there. You know, how about the Great One? And it stuck and never went away. I was at a dinner Charles Barkley and his wife, my son and I, and we were at a table of 4, and his wife said, "Great one, will you pass me the salt?" And kind of had my head down, I kind of went to reach for the salt. And Charles grabbed the salt and he said, "In this house, they call me the great one." I said, "Okay, you give her the salt." Which record am I most proud of? Listen, I say this to the young kids all the time, just to play in the NHL is an honor, and it's a privilege, as I said. But for me, you know, if I have one record, it's the one I think is going to be the hardest to break. It was the 50 goals in 39 games, because I just think that, listen, every record's made to be broken, and there's a lot of them that get broken over time. But 50 goals in 38 games is a lot of goals for somebody to score to break that record. I think the last 3 games I scored 4 goals, 3 goals, and 5 goals to get to 50. So that's pretty good clip, you know, to score 12 goals in 3 games. That's a record I think is going to be hard to beat. I remember when I was breaking Gordie Howe's record, I said to my dad, because Gordie was following us, and when I broke the record, I said to my dad, I said, "You know, I feel really bad because Gordie was my idol. When I grew up, he was bigger and better and nicer than I ever imagined, and we became really good friends over time." And I remember saying to my dad, in a lot of ways, I'm embarrassed that I'm breaking his record. And my dad said, "You shouldn't feel like that." And I remember saying to him, "Why?" And he said, "Gordie's really proud of what he accomplished, and he's really proud and happy for you." And he said, "You remember that when the guy comes along to break your record, that you have the same class as Gordie Howe has today." And I went, "Okay." I said, "Well, can I hold on to the record for a little while though? I just broke it today."
What is your definition of La Dolce Vita?
Oh, that's easy for me, family. I'm lucky, I got a great wife, 5 wonderful kids, 5 beautiful grandchildren. And you know, the greatest compliment you can get as a parent, when somebody comes up to you that you don't really know or wasn't really around your kids growing up, and they say, "You know what, I met your daughter or I met your son, and they were so polite and so nice." And that's the greatest compliment you can get as a parent, and for me, that's the greatest thing in life.
Awesome. Wayne, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Your green jacket.
All right, we got one of those.
But I want you to look at the inside.
Oh my God.
Carl, let me see. What does it do?
Actually, really cool.
Let me see. Oh my gosh.
We tried to get the, you know, whatever we could
That's
find.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you for having us.
That's so
The least we could
nice.
do.